There you go.
Mhm.
So welcome everyone to our Artways Creative Council meeting. I've been so excited to be here with you, with Susan and Laura and Claire and Carrie, and I think Felicia will be with us. And is there one more that's going to be with us?
I'm not sure about Isabella. She's
Okay, that's right. That's right. She's in transit. Okay,
traveling.
good.
Yeah.
So we have a coven. We have the 5 elements. We have the 5 wisdoms and the 5 sacred colors. 5 is a really, really good number. It's the number of the star. So I really think we can each feel our own call to be here, because we're drawn by this sense of our creativity and how we can create peace in the world using our intelligence. So briefly, I think everybody got the agenda, so, or the improv agenda. So we'll just dive right in. I'd like to first say Artwaves has been in existence for 10 to 12 years, depending on where you place it, although it's probably much older because there's a seed planted in us for this kind of thing, I think earlier than we can even know. So we have a small budget. We are focused on intentional creativity and how the process of creativity is just as important as the art that we buy and sell in our culture. And the missing link is that process of creativity that we're going to inspire in each other today. We hope that is our intention, that we are able to do that. So without further ado, I'd like to just go around the circle and make introductions, and maybe I'll go last. Who wants to go first?
I'll go. I'll go.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. I invite us to all just move our bodies. Woohoo! Yeah. Get to the play mode. Ow, wow, 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 wow. Shake, 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 shake.
You gotta shake it off like a tree.
Shake
off the limbs, shake off the old leaves.
You can laugh it off. Yeah.
You didn't see this part.
Oh yeah, show the boobs, I gotta have fun. We're not shy here. Hi, I'm Laura, and it's great to meet you, Carrie, and to see you again, Claire. And I live right now in Park City, Utah, also Charlotte, North Carolina, and Big Island. I also consider my homes. And I have a 4-year-old Sierra, and I was 15 years overseeing international professional exchanges and high school exchange programs, citizen diplomacy, and that just wove into my dream of inspiring play through creativity and playing guitar with international groups and singing, and went into studying person-centered expressive arts therapy with Dr. Natalie Rogers, and intuitive painting with Chris Zidell, and Wild Heart teacher trainings, and dance therapy trainings and movement. And so I just kind of, from 2010 to this period, have just been really diving into helping women and families and children awaken their bliss through the magic of play and love and creative joy, and just love supporting and facilitating workshops and retreats to just bring the magic, bring the joy, bring the light. So just so grateful to be with you all and to be part of this wave with awe, continuing the awe in the world. And yeah, it's a little about me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we applause like this? Just wiggling our fingers, and a standing ovation is like this.
Thank you.
Who's next?
I will go.
Yes.
Okay. My name is Susan. I became friends with Maria in 1st grade, at our local Catholic school. And we've survived. But anyway, Maria left as soon as she could our area, and I'm jealous of that to an extent. But she came back probably, I don't know, 25 years ago. And I saw an article in the newspaper about her offering yoga like 5 minutes away from where I live. And first of all, I just wanted to hook up with Maria again. But yoga had always was getting my attention, and it was something I always wanted to explore. So that's how we reconnected, was through yoga. And her beautiful property that she stores was magical for that. And many gatherings. I often talk about the beautiful gatherings she would organize at her private retreat that were just very inspirational. So after she moved again, she gifted me with her yoga students, and I started teaching yoga after having years of instruction with Maria. And I did that for about 15 years every week. And just, it made me realize how much, if I would just take that step forward and trust myself, that I could do some good. So, and then we've stayed obviously connected over the years, whether she's here or not. And I am always interested in any ideas or projects she is dreaming about, and like to be involved with any projects or dreams that she has. And so that's why I hired and have enjoyed that. So the Art Waves project has allowed me to meet and become friends with Carrie, an amazing woman in our area. I think she has probably the energy level of 10 people, it seems. So Carrie, do you want to go next?
Good one, Susan.
I do. I have been freezing up a little bit, so I apologize. I will just keep talking, and if you can hear me, great. If you can't, just go on without me, and I'll fade back in a little bit. I live in a rural area where we don't have very good internet, and I'm here with my new baby. Let me see. Here she is. That's Maybelle. We just rescued her from a terrible situation, and she's not used to my art studio yet, me sitting in there. We've only had her a short time, and but she she's just, my heart is just full. So I'm happy sitting here with my little baby Maybelle. And anyway, I do want to thank Susan for getting me involved in this. I started my own nonprofit organization called Carrie Lee's Arts for Kids because I found out that a lot of the schools drop their art programs, and I do a lot of festivals and free things for kids, so the kids who don't have access to the community art center and things like that can be reached with art. So that is my heart is art, and I am very busy doing lots of things with the kids. And right now I'm planning, I think you guys will like this, I'm doing an adult Christmas coloring event at the winery downtown, where I'm going to teach them how to do shading and art. That's how I learned, was doing crayons with my dad, learning how to do shading and blending colors just with crayons. So I'm trying to get the adults to have a little childlike fun. And so I'm really excited about that. And Laura, I am also a musician. I play guitar, piano, and I fiddle around with the fiddle, but I can only really pluck. Everything else sounds like a poor cat strangling or something, you know. But my husband and I play music every weekend, just the two of us in our house. We play music, do our own little concert, and have fun. So I'm very happy to be involved with you guys and to meet some more kindred spirits. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, good morning. Maria, I want to make sure I'm saying your name right. Maria,
Yes.
right? Okay, Maria. I've known Maria for years, but just recently we connected on this Art Waves and the silk flags that she was doing. And it really inspired me, a lot of the colors and the joy that I felt when I looked at them, and what she was doing for the children really just made me fall in love with Maria because of her heart. And the heart in art, like Carrie said, is really, I think, one of my connections as well, because I love children. I'm a realtor by trade. I'm from Oahu and I've lived on the Big Island for 30 years. I had moved to Maui in between and started studying the law of attraction and also the Millionaire Real Estate Agent at the same time, and saw how the love for my son created things easier. And it was just that pure heart of wanting to be of service to this, you know, being that I brought into the world. So anyways, moving back to the Big Island, I saw that this island had, about 98% more power than the other islands. And so I utilized the law of attraction, the secret, and I use it to help my clients, but also families in need, women in need. I was a product of domestic violence. I went through the whole system. I did my divorce pro se and used the Aloha Spirit Law, where the judge recused himself of all of my cases because I was able to show the transparency of what was being done, in my own words and, through my own representation. So long story short, I'm here to be a part of this group of beautiful people, beautiful beings wanting to share. Maria brought me in. I'm not sure what. I read the Art Waves documents last night and really got excited and really wanted to know more. So thank you for letting me be a part of this group.
Mahalo, mahalo, everyone. Wow. And I was struck first when Susan spoke, because you can see the kind of person she is. She didn't speak about herself as much as she spoke about me and her appreciation. And I'm going to speak about her. I'm going to just give it right back to you, because I think that this is really the seed of what we're able to give these budding beings in our world today, who are so traumatized by a world that is shaking. It's like we're shaking in chaos because we're transforming, because we're moving from the third dimensional and the fourth dimensional to higher dimensions. The spiritual energies that we are being invited to embody are so great. We need to hold hands, because it's like we are ascending, we are transforming. And as adults, if we feel the power of that and the chaos of that, imagine how much children feel. So when we pause and step back and really look at what we can give children, is we can return them to their souls. Because the whole culture, the dominant outer culture, is suffering from soul loss. And so how to recover the soul, it's not rocket science. It's actually very simple. It has to do with recovering our attention to and our connection with the creative spirit. when Carrie talks about being with her husband every weekend and playing music, that just lights up my whole being, because I so wish my parents had done that. I wish that they had been able to have that kind of camaraderie. And that, of course, I'm starting to tear up, because I understand what it's like to be raised in an environment that is stifling of creativity, because people are uninformed. It's not because they're bad people. But a brief anecdote about Adolf Hitler. Did you know that he wanted to go to art school and he was turned down because he couldn't get into the art school? And that fed into, I'm sure, his sense of rejection and how he turned on himself and turned on people. And so when I like wash all that away and I say, you know, I'm like one person, I'm one flame of light. And that's why when I start a meeting or I start being with anyone, I light my candle, because, and I think this is so important to remember, because we're all one flame. And so if I can ignite my creative spirit, then I can help another person to ignite their creative spirit. And one by one, we see that that flame spreads, and soon there's a whole wildfire of sacred hearts on fire with this passion for peace. And we started a pilot program last year. I'm getting ahead of myself. This is supposed to be about me, but here's what I'm really wanting to share, is how I appreciated how Susan and Claire and Carrie and Laura and whoever else is joining us later, Felicia, myself, we're here because of the unselfishness that we feel and the transcendent space. We know it's going to be the miracle that's going to catapult. We're not going to solve the problems of today detail by detail, every bridge, every bolt, every nut, every dollar into every poverty-stricken pocket. You can't think about it that way, but we can consider it mythologically. And that's the dimension that our culture has decimated, in putting profit over prophecy, profit over people, profit over partnership. So what's key for me right now in my life is partnership and healthy partnerships. So let's get moving. Thank you all for sharing. I want to respond to so much you've said already, but I won't, so that we can stay kind of on target here. Creative play. So in inviting the creative spirit in, we can't share it with others until we have it turned on inside of ourselves. So Laura and I kind of converged about, well, what would we like to do for 15 or so minutes that's going to get us into that creative, juicy space. And so I'm going to start, and we'll just weave it together. I'm going to invite you first to close your eyes. This is the most important thing, because the outer world takes up 120, 180% of our attention. It takes up so much attention. So when we simply turn the wise witness within, we can begin to feel what's really happening for us. Feel the kinesthetic awakening within. Feel the sensations in your belly, in your head, in your fingers, in your toes. Feel the skin rippling as you breathe in through both nostrils. Really feel inside both nostrils as that breath comes up into the third eye between the eyebrows, and up into the forehead, and up into the crown. And you can go ahead and lift your crown and your arms if they're wanting to participate in this sensation of still breathing in through the nostrils, feeling that breath come to the crown of the head, connecting from there to the back of the neck, the shoulders, out the arms to the fingertips. It's like a ball of sunlight trickles from the fingertips up through the wrists and the arms and the elbows, into the shoulder sockets, and deep into the clavicle. And that clavicle and sternum may want to expand forward and then draw backward, quickening the vibrating movement of the heart, and feel that sacred movement, that micro movement that naturally digests food and provides awareness and gives us smell and taste. And the wonderful sense of sight that we can feel now, not in what we see outside, but what we see inside, letting the eyes become golden orbs for vision, looking down in the body, into the ribs, into the shoulder blades, into the kidneys and the liver and the gallbladder and the pancreas and the lungs, taking in more breath through the nostrils, into the crown of the head, down the back spine, into the lungs, and all the way down to the tailbone and the heels. And feel that breath circulating forward into the toes and rising up again. Let your body follow the breath. Your fingertips may come down toward the earth to draw the breath in from the feet. Draw the breath in from the mana of the land underneath you, coming up through the spine, the tailbone, the chest, the crest of the head, up to the fingertips, and stretch your mouth wide. Open up your mouth and your face and stretch wide. And you may find that you need to get up out of your chair because you're starting to feel you want to stretch and yawn. So let's inhale really big. And as we exhale, yawn. Sound come out. Yes. Navel to the fingertips. And bring your body. Just open the mouth wide and fake a yawn if you can't do it. Open the back of the throat. And that ha sound on the out breath is breath of ha. So let that stretch come into ha. Let the sound go deeper in. The eyes are going in. The sound is going in. The sound of Om is all the way in your heart and your navel. And squeeze it in. Squeeze in your toes and your fingers. Squeeze it into your navel like a prune. Breathe out. Squeeze in. Everything in. And then breathe in. Expand like a sun. Breathing in. Breathing in. Open and then draw back in like a prune. Open with a yawn, spread like a lion. Just reach out, feel your aura, 9 feet around you. Sides. Feel the energy around you. And then draw all that light energy back in, drawing into a central place in your heart, in your solar plexus, in your navel. Draw it in. And then just relax for a moment, letting your body move in little micro movements. And notice inside how your body is like a vessel for creative spirit energy, a vessel for your muse. Feel your body as a vessel for the muse. Feel the vessel breathing from the centermost point of your body out to the edges of the skin. And then draw back in from the sides to the center, from the front and back to the center, from the top and bottom up to the center. And in this vessel that you are, see your muse, your creative spirit. Just see it. Relax yourself. Relax your body. Listen for the inner voice of the muse. Oh.
These beautiful sparkles from the sky smile as they see you. They say, oh my goodness, I've got to come down and play with you. And the sparkles come down and you sparkle on your forehead and you feel the sparkles all over your body, your arms. You sparkle your arms and the back of your neck. You sparkle your heart. You sparkle your beautiful belly and the back of your heart. All these sparkles of love, sparkles on your hips and legs, hugging and sparkling, opening that beautiful, gorgeous essence inside of you, sparkling, letting her play, letting the environment around you feel filled with sparkles and hearts, dancing and singing and love, feeling your heart shimmering with this beautiful golden light, shimmering all around your environment, all around, beyond, outside the roof, around, outside the building, the city. You're spreading your heart sparkles, your love to all the children, to all the people, to all the families, bringing love and healing and holding peace. Even beyond that, you push it just a little farther and it sprinkles this golden, loving light of magic all over your state, all over the oceans and the waters and the trees, and beyond that, all over the country, all over the planet, peace all over. This beautiful spiral of constellation hearts spiraling with love and peace and color and paint splattering with joy and celebration and freedom, freedom, freedom,
Freedom.
rainbows, freedom,
Freedom.
freedom everywhere, rainbows everywhere with freedom.
Rainbows. The rainbow bodies waking up. So just feel those shapes and lines and colors and symbols inside your body, trickling through the cells, waking up the membranes, the fascia, the connective tissue in your body, like a lattice work of light. Take a nice deep breath and feel the depth of the most pleasurable sensation that you had during that meditation. Just tune in to the most successful, loving, pleasurable, effective, wonderful moment that you had in this creative play. And it's not over yet, because I'm going to invite you to get your paper and your pen. Just tune in to yourself. Try to not think quite yet. So let yourself stay in that magnanimous, imaginal realm. You can think about it as right brain rather than left brain, but really it's more centered in the heart. So find how quickly your body wants to jump up into the head. So that's the way we're trained as a culture. We don't need to do that. We can allow ourselves to pick up the pen, keep breathing, keep concentrating on the muse in your vessel. The muse in your vessel. And place your pen in your hand softly with a nice, easy hold. We don't want to grip. And gently put your pen to paper and feel your muse connected with the pen or the pencil or whatever you're using, and let it move the way it wants. So you're just staying in touch with the edge of the pen. You're not really thinking about anything. This is below the level of cognition. I'm just having fun. And I'm just following the line. And I'm feeling that sense of the vessel and the muse within. And I'm just letting my body travel with the edge of the pen. And I'm not getting involved in what it does. I'm just letting myself be a part of it. And so just follow your pen, aware of the vessel and the muse. And if you find yourself wanting to go back and correct something, let it be, but notice how you get more into your logical brain then, and see if you can go back into the creative zone by tracing a line or trying something new. Try to keep your pen on the paper. Keep breathing. Feel the liberation from your traditional frameworks. Liberation from traditional frameworks. And see what comes. And then gently bring your drawing to a close. I would love to see your drawings, and if you have anything to say about it. It's not a requirement, but I would adore it. Lovely.
It's, so there's the seed in my heart,
Uh-huh.
and then it spirals out, and all these hearts keep growing bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah.
I love it.
I just wanted to go on a wild adventure with color.
Oh,
Fantastic.
nice.
I love it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's, you know, it's so interesting. You do something like that and then you stand back and I see the vessel in there. See the vessel there in the bottom right side? You've kind of got a column here and then two arms coming out and then two breasts at the top. So you've got the earthen vessel of the great mother. You see that, Carrie, don't you?
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
things come up that you know, new forms. And all we have to do is trust the creative spirit. Just breathe and trust the creative spirit. So who else wants to show?
I'll do mine.
Oh,
Okay.
goody.
Oh. Mine is the beauty of chaos. chaos.
Oh, nice.
My life seems like I'm swirling around so much, but there's always some purpose behind everything. And I just have to draw from within to make it.
Oh,
So beauty and chaos.
lovely. Thank you. Very nice.
Beautiful.
Here's mine. I
Oh,
drew my name. I couldn't be creative enough, so I drew my name and then it evolved and I was trying not to make any like, straight lines
Oh,
until
I
the
love it.
end when I started coming back into my head and then it got a little bit more pointy, but I love the roundness and feels like a female energy when it's round and
Mhm.
spherical.
mm-hmm. Yes.
That is so beautiful, everybody. And while we're here, deeply involved in our drawings, I'd like for you to find a place on the drawing. Laura, you may need a new page to write 3 words that express your strengths. 3 words that express your strengths. So let's put that aside. We're going to come back to it. Of course, we never put our strengths aside. They animate us. Our strengths are what empower us. We get up in the morning, we say, I'm awake and I'm empowered by my creative spirit, my creative strength, what gives me meaning and purpose. And so I'd like to move us a little bit into the more discussion, more left brain, if you will, more logical form of discussion, although always recognizing that creative play is not a luxury. It's not just for children. And we have in our society a mental health crisis at every age group. We all know it. I don't need to say anything else about it. Post-COVID, there is a lot of trauma. And through our willingness to give good nutrition to ourselves, we can give good nutrition to others. Soul food, soul food. It's just the dynamic play. And I would imagine that everyone in this room is a giver and overgives and doesn't take enough time for themselves. It's a natural for altruistic people. And so I want to be sure that we are all aware of the importance of daily laughing, daily creative play, and using that not as a vacation, but it is central to our process. It's prayer for the artist to have the ability and friends to do creative play together. So I thought I'd start with a little update of where ArtWaves has been. And I'm sorry if it's repeating for some people, and to make it brief, I wrote it down so I could just hit the points. In 2010, 2012, we were working with Project Hawaii, which serves meals to homeless children, and also Sanctuary of Mauna Kea Gardens, Randall's organization. He was our 501c3 sponsor. As we started to develop a West Side program that would match what Hawaii Project was doing on the East Coast of Hawaii. And so during that time between 2012 and say 2018 or 19, we had almost a decade of serving children by giving them food and feasts, especially at times like Christmas, when they did not get the school lunch program, and they were hungry. And so we figure that we delivered, more than 600 hot home-cooked Christmas meals at festive sit-down dinners, complete with traditional emu roasted turkey, lomi lomi salmon, mashed potatoes, purple mashed potatoes, and poi. We gave festive gifts out, we brought crafts in, we had art for families to do as kind of a side function. And then Santa Claus was always there, ho, ho, ho. It was all dressed up. It was a magnificent event. We would have, long tables with serving platters as for a buffet. And in addition to that, we delivered 500 blessing bags, which are bags that families could take home that would feed the family for 5 to 7 days. We wanted to make it for a week, depended on how much food we collected. We put up boxes at the motorcycle shop and KTA. We had boxes, feed the children, Kona, and people threw pennies in the boxes. They threw presents in the boxes, canned food in the boxes. And we collected all that and, got together and organized it into these blessing bags. And we did this 3 or 4 years for Christmas. We had an eco arts camp 1 year, I think that was 2016. We did that with Kealakahe Elementary School, where we went in and we were day long with the kids. They started a sunflower plant the first day, and by the time they left, they had a little sunflower plant to take home, so that they were learning how to make good nutrition through that, garden to table idea, but also to make something creative. And so we made many of the flags that we have now came from that program, same as it is now, where children would make one flag to take home and have for their family, and then they would contribute to the community. And I think that's one of the reasons why this program is so unique, is that a lot of people are doing social emotional learning, are helping kids to kind of wake up their creative spirit. But we're giving it the virtues. We're modeling for children how they can live virtuously. So that, and not with moral commandments or anything like that, but that I do this for myself and I do this for you. So there's a you, there's a me, and there's a moi. That's what I think Rob Hansen calls it, is that moi, M-W-E, moi. And that's where we're kind of not in that competitive Darwinian mode of survival of the fittest, which has truly, what's the word I'm looking for? It's deformed our world. It's deformed the human impulse to collaborate. We're happier when we know that we can trust that we're with people, that we can make good things happen and make beauty and continue to do it. I just want to share with you something I learned in Bali that was shocking to me, and it has proven to be true year after year. My professor in Java, which his name was Muhammad Kuznu, he was an Islamic man, but of course the whole Indonesian, Polynesian matrix is built out of this idea of gifting to the community, where it's not about making money, it's about what kinds of gifts can I give to the community. But Pa Kuznu said that the difference between East and West is this. In the East, we come together with people, we create ohana or sangha, we like the people, we get along, we create a business because we enjoy doing the same things, and we then continue to do that. And then when the business dissolves, we go and we look for another business to be in because we want to be together. And in the West, you build a business, whether you're friends or not, or whether you're family or not, and then the business dissolves and everybody goes their separate ways. So you never have continuity of the ohana. And the more that I have examined that in terms of how we live, it's more and more true that human relationships are at the heart of creativity, of business. We all know this. I don't want to preach to the choir. I'll go on with um, the update here. So then we kind of reached the COVID years, and not much happened 2019, 2020. Plus I was in the hospital in a coma for almost 3 weeks, and recovered from that, thankfully. And I believe I recovered to do this project.
Mhm.
I was at death's doorway and I came back. A lot of people praying for me, and I felt it. So anyway, then we finally got our breath back and kind of got our walking feet back in April and May of this year. And to our Susan and I's lifelong bond, Holy Communion bond, I call it, first Holy Communion together. Laura came in, and Laura has a sense of timing and rhythm that is just, I think, been really good for us, because somehow, and with Kathy Donnelly, she was part of that too, we put together a pilot project, what I call an art lab. And we taught the silk making painting process to 4 people. And we actually didn't get the whole way through with some, because we were really experimenting with what materials to use and how we would do this. Well, right at the end we had 4 modules, and right at the end, Susan and Kathy got this amazing, offer to do silk painting with the Centralia group. And Carrie, I think you were involved with that group. Would you like to share with us what happened?
Well, I wasn't really in charge of anything. I just helped. So Susan might be more, I think I would rather let her explain.
Okay.
And then I could talk about my part, I guess.
Okay.
But go ahead, Susan.
That sounds good.
Okay. Thanks, Carrie. So yeah, we were in the process of planning to engage locally with the schools in some way. And all of a sudden this inquiry came in that the local junior high had been gifted some money, and the person who provided the funds wanted something to be provided to the 6th grade students in the way of the arts. Her son was very much involved and attracted to the arts. Unfortunately, because of depression and some problems, he ended up committing suicide at the age of 17. So she had the desire to make sure all children are allowed to explore the arts and are not made to feel that it is not important. I think that's part of what occurred with her son. So we were told, they wanted to do this before the end of the school year. This was like in the end of February when they approached us. So we had to move the project into full speed ahead and figure out the best way to do this for 135 children over 3 Fridays. So it was challenging. It was very rewarding for me. I was very pleased with the way we were able to roll that out seamlessly. Behind the scenes, it may not have looked like that at times, but it went well, and the results we had, and we were warned by the superintendent of that school that there were a number of children in that 6th grade groups that were discipline problems, and it wouldn't surprise her if we had to kick some of them out the first class. And that made me sad, because I didn't say it, but in my view, those were the ones who really needed this. To kick them out because they, said a bad word or wouldn't listen didn't seem right to me. But fortunately, there was not one instance of a behavior problem. Some of the boys were a little reluctant at first. I think they were afraid it would appear that they were being, too weird if they did this, but within no time at all, they got right into it, and some of them produced some of the most beautiful pieces. So anyway, that's what happened. It was quite the experience. I'll let Carrie give her thoughts and viewpoints on the process and what she saw happen.
I think one of my favorite parts was the video that you made for the kids, and I loved watching their faces when they saw the video, and that I think they were enthralled with you and the program. And I did enjoy. What I have noticed is the boys are the ones that really enjoy the art, and I think partly because I think girls are naturally drawn to it and it's more accepted in the homes, and the boys
Yes.
don't get a chance to express themselves. And so my favorite part was working with the boys, and all of my teaching and things that I do. They are the most grateful and the most creative, and I think because they're getting an avenue to express that. And so I was extremely pleased that Kathy and Susan invited me to join. I had so much fun doing some of examples of my own, little banners that I made, or flags that I made and everything. And I still see them in businesses when I go around town, even, now. So that's my part that I would like to put in there. It was really fun, and I'm really glad to be involved, and our community needs it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Carrie. So, I think we just are in awe, basically, of the power of this particular process that includes the mindfulness, the peacemaking, and the painting. It's like, Ernest Holmes would be jumping up and down in his, in his grave with, what a way to manifest the positive thoughts that we so need to shape our future. So anyway, after they taught 135 students, I thought, well, it's been 3 years since I had a workshop. I've got to do something. And so SCAO wanted me to get involved with the camp. And so in June, I had 28 kids for 4 days, and we made a number of flags that were just beautiful. And actually, we were able to put together the arrays for Ukraine and Uvalde, which is another topic of conversation. But then Laura and I in August spent some time working on a creative process to come up with a particular movement and song that would help us to give that full-bodied movement and kinesthetic process to kids before they paint. And that was very powerful, and we're still working on that, but it has evolved. And then in October, Susan did an intentional creativity business training in California as part of our representative of Art Waves. And that is an amazing opportunity to help us shape what we're doing in a way that it's both spiritually and artistically sound, and also financially sound, because what we want to do needs to be manageable, doable, and fundable. And those 3 elements they're like the 3 pillars. So then in November, my God, here in Hawaii, it's been so busy. On the 5th, we did the holiday festival that Claire was so great to bring this beautiful donation box to. And then I did an adult silk painting class that was very successful. And many of those women, I hope, are future teachers with us, because, silk painting is something that gets in your blood. It just does, or mine anyway. And then we did the blessing on the 27th of the flags that we're intending to send to Uvalde and Ukraine. And since the effort to share those in those locations has taught us a lot, I think it's important to remember that, once again, it's the process of bringing our focus into Ukrainian peace and writing a letter to a Ukrainian child or painting for peace in Ukraine. That is the magic. Whether these flags ever hang in a refugee center in Poland or at the Uvalde school district is secondary. Even though that I thought that was going to be like a major thing, but I'm realizing the important thing is our giving, and giving to them doesn't stop wherever the flag is. Although I hope we can get these flags that we now have. You know, we have a flag that we made in 2017 and sent it with Linda. Oh, what's Linda's last name? It's not Haskell. Can't remember her last name. Anyway, she went to Standing Rock and was standing with the tribes and cooking with them. We gave her a flag and she gave it to the children of the tribal area. And, you know, and that was like, that was the first time I felt like, you know, we're making these flags and the children are changing, but what happens if we keep sharing them? So here we are.
Does Linda,
And,
does Linda work with animals?
No,
Okay.
I can't believe how somehow I'm just escaping her last name. It will come to me at the oddest moment. She's a psychologist. She lives with John Float now and
Okay.
has a house in Honau. Wonderful, wonderful woman, wonderful artist. So, you know, Miami Yoda has been involved with us and contributed to the program. And also a great supporter is Francine Hart. You know, and
Linda
she's someone.
Satchel. Linda Satchel.
That's it. Thank you. I knew it was, I kept saying Hatchel. Thank you. Make that connection. So we are, you know, we have a lot of support in terms of people just love the idea of what we're doing. It's riveting. It is quantum, and that it is totally based on the science of quantum physics. That, you know, the miracle that we are painting is one that actually does affect the outcome here. So that's why I thought we'd move into the next phase of our discussion. If there are no questions, feel free to, you know, I'm just trying to keep us on target and respect people's time. So strengths. And I was trying to figure out how to do this, and I think maybe we can do it this way. How about if I open a Word document and I will put that Word document online, and I'll keep track of what you all tell me are your strengths, because I want us to have a common map here. And if I go to that drawing board again, we're not going to be able to read anything. So I believe that this will work better. And let me just get in there. There you go. There we go. Okay, so now you're seeing a blank document, right? And I'm going to put here ETHS. Okay, so strengths, and I'm going to make that a big heading. Okay, so who wants to go first with strengths? And I'll be your secretary. What are your 3 strengths, Susan?
Well, I can be very, sometimes to a fault, compassionate. So, or empathetic, you know, I have a lot of empathy.
What are the other 2?
I can also be very giving, the desire to help. And when I feel strongly about something, I am very passionate about it.
Okay. Claire?
Okay, so mine was the heart. So I do everything with, you know, with the intention of giving love and also receiving love. Aloha, since I used, you know, the aloha spiritually and professionally. And then the last part was the self. I have, since I've learned the law of attraction and how creating actually comes from deep inside of you, I actually use the orgone or the orgasm energy so that the inspiration comes from the divine core. So that mixed with the heart and aloha, it all seems to work together and emanate.
Great. So, Laura?
I wrote play, compassion, and glow with the flow.
Mhm.
Fantastic. Everybody's are just great. Okay, Carrie?
Creative, outside of the box thinking. I have a big loving heart and I like to share it. And patience. I have a lot of patience to be able to work with children. You have to have that, and I'm proud of that.
It does take a lot of patience, doesn't it? I
I had to work on it.
uh-huh. Me too. Me too. It's such a, it's so important. Trying to get this all on one page. Let's see. Anyway, okay, so here we are. All right. So I was going to put 2 columns, but I'm here going to put, okay, there we go. And the third area was preferences. Now, the way that I first learned this particular kind of masterminding technique, it was shown to me as people sharing their strengths and their needs. And as I was thinking about it last night, I thought, I don't think we want to come forth with our neediness. I think that we want to come forth with our preferences. And that's a much more empowered place. Because really, none of us, I mean, there is a deep need. It's like the creative spirit, generosity, creativity, the heartfulness, that's our DNA. Everybody that's here in this room. And so forming that into a way that we can create, and I'm going to use this word specifically, legacy, because I think each of us reaches a point in our lives, in our yoga, in our development, in our maturity, where we have developed a large enough witness self to be more concerned about the time period and the space period outside my own particular individual need, that we think in terms of how can I help the whole? And there's something very selfish about that, because ultimately, spiritually, we understand we are the wholeness. We are the creative spirit. We are the magma of Mother Earth coming forth. So we have all of the strengths and the powers that we need. So once again, not from a place of neediness. So I
Maria,
really,
how about your strengths?
oh, forgot about that.
Can't
Maria,
Mhm.
well, right now I'm feeling very organized, and I usually don't, but it's like, it's like when Claire talks about that divine core, the divine light inside of me knows the qualities that I choose to embody. And probably it's the further away I'm getting from menopause at this point, the more particular I am about how is what I'm doing going to be effective. Now, so when I look at my personal legacy, our legacy as ArtWaves founders, as people who are founding moment to moment what ArtWaves is going to be, because once again, the process is as important as the product. And yet to achieve the manifestation that we want, we also have to think in terms of these preferences. And I just want to, I'll start in here, and you all can join in. And I'd like to begin. Okay, I'm just going to put here, I'm going to go all the way to this column now, and I'm going to say fundraising campaign. And I've thought about this. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a box. Where's my box? There it is. Okay. Okay, so there we are. All right. Keep that over there. So fundraising campaign that makes sense. Right now we're using GoFundMe, and that's successful when it's successful, and it takes a lot of time to do even the little bit that we are, and it needs an organized approach with someone who understands not only what we're trying to do, but where the funding sources are. There are grants to be written. I mean, it just goes all over the map, but I'm just giving the broad strokes here. Office administration. I'm very behind in my thank you letters. I send personal thank you letters to everybody that contributes. And I'm like 6 people behind right now. And so organizing our contacts in a Google Doc. We started it with Laura. We started a document, and I think it needs, it's a perfect start, but it needs some detailing. So office administration. And then what was the third thing? I did take notes and write them.
Let's see.
Yeah, what are you guys coming up with?
Well, that's the 3 things I had
Materials
down.
creator. So that materials
Yes.
creator is, I'll be real specific. Business cards. We need return address labels to put on envelopes when we send out thank you cards, or if we're doing any request for grants or anything like that, we're going to need the return address labels. And then I thought about here. You see this? You can barely see this here. Okay, this is a little tag that came on a Tibetan flag array, and it says Tibet collection, wind horse prayer flag garland on one side. On the other side, handmade in Nepal by Tibetan Handicraft Industries for International Campaign for Tibet. And so those are 3 materials, tags for our flags, business cards, and labels. It's a small thing, but I've tried several times to get started on that, and it just, my time gets swamped. And I feel like I need some support for that. And then we were going to make a how-to video that is wanted, how to make the silk flags, and 4 easy 15-minute lessons, or in an hour. And I have made some yoga videos and realized we need a videographer. It's not in my wheelhouse to be able to do that. We need the support of a videographer. And then social media support. So what are your preferences? I mean, okay. So you see here, I got kind of paused at organized, because I'm like you all. I love out of the box thinking, and I love creativity, and I love play, and I'm I'm compassionate, and I love aloha, and we all do. And I'm wondering how we build this bridge between our strengths and our preferences. How do we embody getting this other stuff done? But before we do that, let's add to this preference list with you chiming in. What do you want to see happen?
Hmm.
Well, I'm ready to go with what Claire wrote me a beautiful set of questions. Um, what are your expectations for financial projections? So I'm just going to jot down here financial. That's something we want to know. And I put some time in on it just this week thinking about it. And I think our budget is going to be $15,000 for the last 2 years by the end of the year. It would be better if it were 20,000. That would be helpful. 20,000 as a budget next year would not be unrealistic. You know, it's, do we want to grow from the soil that we have, and how are we going to do that? I think that's really the question. So she also said, will there be other mediums? And I think that's a very good question, because we've thought about greeting cards that could be sold online or used for fundraising. And then also Felicia makes these little handmade dolls. And you know, that would, so there are ways that we could move beyond the peace flags, but I think the peace flags are really key right now. I'd be interested in hearing your approach. And then the other question she had was about a website. Let me write that down. And then Susan, do you have a few words that you'd like to address to criteria for people to participate in the program and outreach to schools?
Yeah, I can do that. So my belief is that we would not limit this to certain segments of the population. But obviously we would want to offer this to like, for example, in Centralia, the project, the rollout of this in the spring of this year included, there were no limitations on who could participate other than they had to be in the 6th grade. So we had, you know, low income children, we had children who weren't having any of those struggles, we had children with mental health struggles and some with not, but it benefited everyone. So that's why I'm thinking it shouldn't be limited to certain segments of the population. We need to establish connections in our local areas with the school districts. And we have done that in Centralia. We now have, you know, we've shown that the benefit of the project, and they know who is there. And from what I hear, there's going to be other schools in the area who will ask for this to be presented. And then we have a request from Kathy to be able to offer this in a certain area locally that is mainly for a certain segment of the population who are really struggling. So, you know, it can be some of both, in my opinion. Establishing
Susan, you're going in and out.
I believe is just, and okay, let me,
Can you just
I'll stop the
repeat that?
video and see if that improves.
Okay.
Yes, so the reaching out to the local schools, community organizations will be very important. Maria drew up a handout that I just received in the mail this week that lists the history a little bit, the purpose of Art Waves, and herself, Laura, and my as contacts. So, you know, the best way to get these out in our communities needs to be discussed, I think.
Okay, all right. So Claire, you had that question. Does that kind of address the question that you had? When you sent me this list?
I forget asking the question, so.
Oh,
I-
I've got,
Yeah,
I've
I
got,
appreciate
I've got them
you
right.
having
You just asked, how are you outreaching to schools and students? And is there a criteria? And I completely agree with Susan that to limit it to only people who are below a certain poverty line is hard, because then it's like you're singling them out. At the same time, children of wealth are often able to buy art classes and, give particular attention to their own children. And so I think just being mindful that we want to appeal to a broad base is really important. And one of the things that we discovered and are discovering even now is that there is a beautiful intelligence to having the child and the family together, because the child is really not a different system. It's like Einstein said, the field is the most important element to the particle. There is no particle, it's just the field. And so by having children and families together, that's important. Not always possible, but it's valuable. And I'm starting to do more family trainings where I go in with a family and that has 1 or 2 children, and the family paints together. And in Hawaii, there was a tradition of making family banners that I think I would very much like to resurrect. It's a wonderful thing to do, to find your family symbols, find your colors.
So
Go ahead.
I took a lot of notes. Oh, Laura, you want to go?
All right, I just want to add that like I just need to send an email to the Montessori my daughter goes to and say, okay, guys, this is what we want to do when, because I've already talked to them. So I just need to like get an email. So, putting that together. And then I'm meeting on Friday with this girl, Randy Joe. We have a coffee date, and she does yoga for children. And she also has started this whole mindfulness program in the area working with children. So I wanted to share about this and about, possible collaborations with her, with, with what can open up in a collaboration. So.
Okay, so let me see if I'm getting this. I'm thinking about this as a bridge somehow. I'm not sure how, but Utah school, Montessori school.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I also have been invited to SCAIA to do a teen group on December 19th. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to do it. It's a lot of problems with it, but it's our mission. So, it's not perfect, but it's perfectly imperfect. So I will flow with that.
So I have something that might be the bridge, and this was something that I grew up with, that our schools in Oahu, where I grew up in Kaneohe, were really emphasized once we were exposed to theatrics. And I think that what the connection is the building of self-esteem of the children, so that they can go into art, go into music, go into business, go into wherever. And again, we go into that divine course. So for me and my upbringing, had I wished that it would be different, I would have emphasized more of the drama and the theatrics, and then the creativity, the art, the music, everything kind of built on that. So again, we go back to the child's, self-esteem, and how we can, Laura, the free, being able to have it be whimsical and lighthearted. I think if we can bring that into this picture, to me would be a healthy completion of a healthy child, to have theatrics, the drama, being able to express, and something children of all levels, all statuses may have issues with for whatever their upbringing was. So that sounds like to me a kind of encompassing.
Love it.
Totally. And I feel that that's completely in line with the concept of healing arts and intentional creativity, that building on the breath and the body and the kinesthetic sense, that can go anywhere in terms of how that clear, natural, genuine expression can manifest itself. The tie-in with the peace flags, that is, I completely agree with the theater and, you know, movement and song. That's totally what we're doing. And having the object of the peace flags seems to, you know, when I was doing theater in Boulder, I was really interested in performance because I was always a little frightened of it. And what I realized is that the word performance actually comes from the French word "fournir," and that word means completion. So the cycle of creativity is, you know, we play creative play, we find forms, ideas, movements, sounds, we build that into something that has a structure, and then we complete the circle by sharing it with others. And so I think that I think that process is really a good one. I guess what is unclear for me is how we get from these strengths to getting these preferences addressed and or accomplished. And I feel like these are really events and we kind of call these keepers, right? It's like something we know we want to include in our workshops. We call those keepers. And I think that that's definitely a keeper to bring that in. And in fact, one of the things that we discussed early on, Claire, was that because as we work locally in our individual communities, the impulse to help share with other communities is a good one. We want to get our house healthy and clean, and we want to share that with others as much as possible. And that generosity is part of the learning. And we had a woman on our board who may come back. She's with the Peace Corps. And she gave us the idea of having boxes that include the art materials, videos with Laura and I and any other teachers that we would send to schools. We could send anywhere in the world. We could send to schools, arts centers, we could send to families, we could send to social service organizations, and they would be the colors, the paints, the brushes, the instructions, the music, the theater guidance, the warm-up activities for theatrical play, and the silks, and it would all be included. So they open the box and there's their play day to make more peace flags. And so we've been kind of looking at how, since I think every one of us here is acutely aware of the need and the kind of material that we want to give to the world, and what will help to calm the world and heal a lot of the mental illness in our world. I feel very strongly about that. And any of us who have been close to suicide know that, you know, it's like these things don't need to happen. But like Claire was saying, the self-esteem, being able to self-express, these are fundamentals that our children have not been receiving like we want them to. So how do we then match up strengths and preferences? So how would you see any bridge between, everybody can see this, between these strengths and these preferences? What do we need in the middle there? How do we weave it together?
people who are passionate about these areas or who are very knowledgeable to be involved.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Like
Okay,
it's easy, you know, and it's just
Right.
like, you know, the ins and outs, right?
right, right. So, for instance, if you ask me to sit down and write up a fundraising note, I'm going to put here writing. Um, I'm there. I can do it. I can sit down. I can do it. So that then can feed into here, and I think we can do this. I'm going to put an M here. So I can help with the fundraising campaign because I can do the writing. And I see the other connection that I'm seeing is I see so much soul here. I mean, and that's, you could say for all of us, our soul trust. We are a soul trust, aren't we? I never thought about that, but a soul
Mhm.
trust. And we are willing to put so much soul into things. And now we want to see, well, how can we manifest that? And what comes to mind for me with a lot of this passion and creativity I'm seeing here and the strengths would be in here, social media support. And you can just stop me here any moment, but I think all of us can play a part in social media support just by, you know, when Susan puts out a post, we, you know, and she tags us, then we tune in, and we're already doing that. It's just recognizing that that really has value because our society is so entrenched in social media. So, and if you don't want your name there, you don't need it. I'm just kind of heart storming here to find out how we can get the weaving into a fabric that makes sense. Now I'm going to put here, I'm moving, that's what I wanted, financial projections. So let's go here, put financial projections here, and actually the fundraising campaign comes out of our financial projections because we will want them to match, right? So that's kind of like putting something together.
Mhm.
We may need to hire office administration. We may need to hire a videographer. I don't
Mhm.
know,
I
but
can help with the office.
oh, you
I can
can?
definitely- Yeah, I can help with the office stuff.
Oh my God, that would be so great. Tell me specifically what your,
Well, my background's in executive management, so I've, you know, come up the ranks from the, you know, from the secretary. My, you know, from high school, it was always business, and then into college was, you know, business administration. So there's some element of typing that I can do very
uh-huh,
easily.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, that is so great to hear. And, you know, specifically, we're trying to set up a database that has our donors, people that have contacted us, and we're almost at the point, we've got 2 different kinds of calendars, you know, on Google, and we're kind of like, well, which way do we go? So, you know,
Is it
are you
something
able?
like an Excel spreadsheet or something
Yes,
to do the database, or? Yeah, that's
yes,
fine.
and we have one that Laura started, which is very cool, but you know, it's not quite there at the level of organization that we wanted, and the donor Excel sheet has not been integrated. So I was mentioning to Susan that we want in our columns, our G column, that if that's emails, we want then the G column in all the Excel spreadsheets to be emails, right? So that they're locked. There's things like that that I'm not. It's not like I took a nap, but my first computer use was, I think, 1987 or something, you know, and I've been trying to play catch up ever since. But that is great. So what would be the next step on that?
If Laura wants to send me, or you want to send me the Excel spreadsheet and whatever you need to compile.
Okay,
I should invite you
You know, we,
to the Google Docs.
okay, so,
Okay.
so Laura, geez, Laura will send a Google Doc and I will send donor list. So you'll have two lists. And, you know, I'm just wondering if maybe from that, this came out of our conversation that we need a map. You know, and I think what this embodied part here is about is that, you know, at a certain point of carrying those 10, 12-pound blessing bags and ruining my hands by lifting them and getting the chefs involved and getting the tomatoes and getting the, you know, producers of lettuce on the island to contribute their products and, you know, just the meal after meal. And I was just like, the Chinese saying of give a man a fish, he eats for a day, teach him to fish, he eats forever, came to mind. And I felt like we can do something that builds the self-esteem, the confidence, and the willpower and creativity to succeed. And I think we're getting at the how and we're getting at the map. And I'm very, very grateful for that. What about the website?
Hey, sorry, Claire, can you just real quick tell me your email?
Claire, CLAIRE 808 Hawaii spelled out at gmail.com. I'll type it in the chat.
Do I need to do something to turn that on? To make that
No.
visible?
I just invited you, Claire, to the,
Okay.
or you should receive it.
Okay.
Do you see it?
Yeah.
You
Awesome.
know, and I had just yesterday or so, I went on to that Google Doc and I went to the top and I said Creative Council and I filled out my name and my details. And I think if all of us just put our details in, then we have, you know, access. Go ahead.
So I'm thinking we could use this as a compilation and then, you know, divide it as needed, but we would, you know, itemize it as donors, participants, you know, facilitators, you know, sponsors, that kind of stuff. So we can, because you can sort, you know, this spreadsheet according to that, you know, that kind of subject, you know, subjects.
Uh-huh.
don't-
Another element that we put in there that I think is really key in fostering our vision, and that is Ukrainian and Uvalde contacts that we have made. And the reason that I bring this up is that we haven't necessarily confirmed any relationships in terms of getting the flags here to those areas. However, we have found the process of researching and calling people and connecting with Ukrainian people and people from Uvalde that we're building a network, and that the support that we're giving, at least in Uvalde, saying that we want to do this and we care about you there, and you know, we're making these peace flags in Hawaii and Illinois and Utah, and we care about you and we want to send these peace flags to you as a gift. Their hearts are relieved of some grief for a moment, and that's a good thing. So that's why I think that outreach, that was another word that I was going to put here, outreach. And we don't know what our outreach is. And I know we're over time here, so I feel like we need to either get permission from everyone to go another 5 minutes or close right now. Shall we go another 5 minutes?
I'm okay with that. This
Are
is
you okay?
Susan.
I'm very
Yeah.
conscious of your time. I could go over, but I realize people have other things. So
Maria, can I
Yes.
interject
please.
one thing under the fundraising campaign? I am willing to investigate different avenues of fundraising. I would love if Carrie had some time at some point to have lunch with me and her, if she would share some of, because she's been so successful, it seems, in finding avenues for supporting her work. And if she would be willing to kind of school me on that a little.
Mhm.
I've never been a fundraiser.
Absolutely. I'd love to.
Great. Okay.
Mhm.
I will get with you after some point here and see when we can meet. I
Okay.
would like to learn more on that because that is, you know, the foundation, one of the main foundations of what we're trying to do here. The best way to fund this, to be able to provide it.
I mean, I think
Mhm.
this is so essential, the question that you're bringing up, Susan, and I really would, maybe not right now, but find out Claire's approach to an ongoing question that we've had. In terms of product, we are selling an experience, a healing arts educational experience. We are selling the flags, but not really, because we're asking donators to contribute and we give them a gift flag. And then we also are sharing these awe care packages, which are the kits that we're putting together. And I tell you, I think that's going to be a very big need. I was going to say a big seller, but it's like we're not. I really want to separate what we're doing as gifting from commercializing, because I think that's another place where society went off the rails. The artists were always asked to make and inspired to make gifts to give to nature. And the gifts were given to the gods and the goddesses and the beings in the forest and the trees, and they were given because nature gives us everything. And so artists gave to nature, nature gave to the community by providing food and habitat and serenity. And then the community gave back to the artist. So it was full circle giving. And when we've gotten into this, this is going to cost you, $1,200 for this, silk flag. There's something about that that's not what we want to do. The same goes for the packages. My idea has always been that if the Gates Foundation decided to fund this project so that we could just give the project to worthy recipients, that would be the very best world, because it would fulfill that desire to serve all of the people, but we're not at that place. And the bridge to that place might be having these packages with our educational material, the care packages that we send out. So any thoughts on
Mhm.
that?
No, I'm glad you brought all that up. I agree with that. I just know Carrie is out there everywhere all the time, and she wears me out just watching what all she's doing. But I understand that that is probably one of the reasons she's getting so much participation and support of her program,
Mhm.
is because she's out there offering
Yeah.
all the time.
Mhm.
Do you agree, Carrie?
Yeah, and everything I do, I call it a fundraising event, because it is. I mean, no matter what
Okay.
I'm doing, whether it's theater or like my coloring thing is a fundraising event.
Oh,
And just by using that verbiage, people, oh, I want to come to that because I'm helping raise funds. And it's easier for me
interesting.
because I don't have a building, I don't have staff. So every bit of money that we raise goes towards these programs.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, and it's just, and every organization is like that, but they don't always say that. I'm the only one that I've seen that everything is a fundraiser to raise money for kids programs. Kids
Are
art
you a
programs.
nonprofit
So,
organization?
yeah, I'm a
Okay.
501c3. Mhm.
So for instance,
I've only been 18. I've only been 3 years. I'm going into my 4th year. So,
fantastic.
yeah.
So for instance, this adult Crayola drawing project that you're doing, how much do you
Mhm.
charge people for that? I'm just curious.
Well, this one is cheaper because all I'm buying in them is a box of crayons. And so we're charging 25. I'm splitting it with the winery because they are also giving out a glass of wine with it, or a drink or whatever. So I
Oh.
get 20 and they get 5. So that's what we're doing. And we have a poor community, and so I always keep my prices. I don't go overboard in the 25 for adults because I don't want them to not come either,
Yeah.
Mhm.
because they can't afford it. And I always say too, when I advertise, is that if they can't afford it, let us know, because I have sponsors that'll pay for them to come and they don't have to worry about it. So everybody can come. But
Mhm. Mhm.
I think that is excellent guidance. I think that's
Yeah, I
and the
really
one
agree.
excellent.
thing I will say that I have started doing, and it has been successful as far as fundraising and getting the word out and getting volunteers to help, is I've designed a PowerPoint presentation about our organization and all the things that we do. And I go to civic organizations and I present that, and I always walk away with a check, or I'll get
Oh.
one later in the mail. And now they're starting to get together again since COVID. So, all the different teachers, retired teachers organizations, they're the best because they love what we do with
Mhm.
kids. So that's probably a really good, and I don't know how it is there, but here we have lots of organizations that meet. And it gets the word out fast. In fact, one of the things I do is I sponsor a special needs prom. It's for persons with
Oh.
disabilities.
Oh, what a
To
great
have a
idea.
huge prom. It's
Oh.
a huge gala. I mean, and everything is free. And I
Oh.
raised $10,000
Oh.
this year, $10,000 for that one
Wow.
event.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I would
and
love to do
it-
that. I want to copycat that.
That's awesome.
It really
It's
is.
called the Dream Come True Prom. So you should do one there. I would love that.
We should do one. Oh my gosh, we
Love
should
it.
do one.
See, we,
Yeah, you'll
Oh.
I
you
came up with
should
the
look at
idea
the
of
pictures and stuff.
okay, I'd love to. But I mean, I love the idea that you're working with the special needs population. And we actually struggled with this for a while in terms of, we came up with a Child at Heart dinner. And that was to
Mhm.
invite the adults for their child at heart to come out. And we got into this kind of like, well, our mission is to serve children. We're inviting the adults to come because it's a fundraising thing. And, we became a little bit confused about the mission with that. And it just, we decided not to do it. But I love your idea of calling it a prom because everybody relates to that. And
Mhm.
the title Dream Come True, I love it.
Maybe
Mhm.
we need to create yearbooks, a future yearbook.
That's a great idea.
That is a great idea for
Uh-huh.
visualizing and manifesting, and like vision boarding. I totally agree. That's great. Future yearbook, is that what you said?
Yeah.
That's great.
Wait,
I also did painting with special needs or persons with disabilities too. I did an art show with their artwork, and I go into we have a workshop and things here where I can work with persons with disabilities, teach them watercolor painting and different styles of art too.
Okay, I will need to go, but
Okay.
I love all of that, and also came up with the medium of, the flags, perpetuating the designs of the flags into postcards and
Yeah.
other
Mhm.
types of like even canvas art, or things that we can perpetuate, because once you give it away, it's gone, right?
Yeah.
So some way to keep that vision and that perpetuity in place.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Or as
Mhm.
part of the business cards
Business cards, absolutely, yep.
with the flags.
Uh-huh. Well, I haven't found the right photo yet. Maybe you can help me find the right photo.
And it could be few photos because you can have different backs. And so it's just whatever prayer flag is the one you get.
Uh-huh.
Mhm. Yeah. I was telling Maria the other day, my daughter, who is a school teacher in St. Louis, in her early years, one year she took the children's artwork and printed out greeting cards, with the front of the card being like, it was all different artwork in the box that you bought, which was to raise funds for the school. So
Wow.
that sounds like,
That's a good
similar
idea.
to what we're talking about here, of putting
That's a good
some
idea.
of the flags onto the front of greeting cards and selling those as a fundraiser.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Greeting
Yeah,
cards,
really.
note
Yeah.
cards. Our thank you card should be with that,
Oh, yeah,
with
that's
the
a good idea.
symbols, so that we're using it as a logos, right? We're giving energy
Mhm.
back to the association.
Mhm.
Even the
Mhm.
thank you notes could have a few different cards in it and ask them to give them away.
Yeah,
Oh.
and sell, yeah. And sell. I think the website might also
Mhm.
offer those types of mediums as well, as a continued source of
Mhm.
income. Okay, I'm so sorry, I have to
Okay,
go, but I'm gonna share.
Liz,
And I know this.
maybe we should just let you go and do a closing without you. I hate to let you go, but it sounds like
Okay.
you're in a hurry.
Thank you, I
Namaste.
am. It's 10
And
o'clock.
we'll
Thank you,
close
thank you.
soon, but thank you for sharing your heart
Thank
and
you
your mind
all.
and soul.
Blessings.
Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Say.
Okay.
So thank you so much. I'm so full. I am, and I feel like we've made a lot of progress. And the one thing we didn't do with Claire is set up the next meeting, and I think that's really important to at least kind of set a potential. We have generally been meeting once a month. I would like to meet every 2 weeks. I just don't, I feel like then we can follow up on things with, and here's the operating condition. No shame, no blame. If you do what you said you were going to do, great. If you couldn't, we understand. And that place of getting up in the morning and feeling excited about what we're doing is what we cultivate. And when we feel, oh my God, I've got to work on those business cards today, don't do it. So you can see why it hasn't moved. So, because I just, it's not about feeling that there's such a difference between having the joy spark and not being able to cultivate it, because that transmits. That's why I stopped using social media regularly, because it just joy goes out of it, and I just don't want to put that energy out there. So anyway, I'm going to send each of us a copy of these 3 areas, and maybe before the next time we meet, you could jot in particular thoughts that come to you. How about that?
And put them in the Google Docs.
Oh, okay. I'll send it to, okay.
Right. And Carrie, we should invite, if you want to be a part of the Google Docs too. So then
Yeah.
that way the people can the inner circle can be have a central place to see any of these things.
You use
Okay.
Google Docs, Carrie?
I have. It's not one of my most common things.
Yeah.
Me too.
Hopefully it'll work
I know-
better. I got Teams and I don't like Teams. I don't know if any of you have done Teams, but I get kicked off of it all the time.
Oh,
But I'll try.
I know
okay.
what you mean.
Well, I just love that there's so much passion here and there's so much desire to do good. And that's what's going to save us. Not just our own
Mhm.
souls, but that's really going to help the world. That is helping the world. And so I'm so pleased. I'm just so happy. So let's get our calendars out. Let me get my book. So when would 2 weeks be? Between
I would be
Christmas
the
and
21st. I'll tell you, I'm gonna have my granddaughters the 21st through the 23rd or 24th. So, and
let's go into the next week. I think
Yeah.
that's understandable.
after Christmas, yeah.
Yeah. And let's see, today is Wednesday. Is Wednesday a good day? Or is Wednesday a good day for us? I think midweek is good for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So in the 8 o'clock Hawaii time is, and then what were noon time and 1
Noon
p.m.
sent for Carrie and I. Mhm.
Okay. All right. And I'll be sure that Claire knows, and I'll send the recording.
What are you saying to do the 21st?
28th.
Susan's got her grandkids.
To do the 28th? Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
I could do the morning of the 21st, but I'm hearing that you can't. Right. So we'll
Yeah.
go the 28th.
What, I'll
Very
tell
good.
you what, how does that, Laura, what's going on? Is the 28th doable for you?
It might be, I need to make sure, because I'm either going to Wilmington on that day or the next day. And it could be kind of
Okay.
chaotic to be in the car.
Mhm.
So, but we can tentatively say that. I know Sierra will probably be with me, so I'll just have to work with that because I'm gonna be in Charlotte on a different, she's not at school. So we'll just, work with that, but we can say 28th, and then if I find out that it's actually the 29th, then it's no big deal. I mean, we'll leave it as 28th. Sound good?
Yeah, the 28th or 29th work for me. So now, Carrie, do you know what your schedule will permit?
I was thinking I had something on that day, but I can't, it's not on my calendar. So on the 28th, I think I'm okay. Yeah, I am okay, but I won't be able to do Wednesdays through the spring because I teach class on that day. I
Yeah.
teach kids classes on that day, so I won't be able to
Okay.
do Wednesdays for the whole spring semester.
Okay.
But that's the only day I have something scheduled for the day during the day.
And that starts back up in January.
January, yeah. But I think I could do the 28th.
Okay. You were
My
thinking about having this scheduled. That's what. So I'm just wondering, did you have any video of you teaching from the Illinois event?
1 second.
I'd love to see it. I'm always
Of
gathering
the Art Waves event?
of teaching the painting. I have been commissioned to make a how-to video on the silk painting, and I'm just kind of looking at what's
okay.
out there and what other teachers do, so I can make it I want to make a good recording, and I feel close to ready to do it. But I was just wondering if you had any of yourself teaching that might be useful.
I think someone took some videos, didn't they, Susan?
Well, but that,
Way to go.
that was just of the students.
Way to go.
I took videos. Oh, bye, Laura.
Bye,
Okay.
guys.
Okay, we're unwinding the goddess weave, so our colors are moving out into the world. Thank you so much. I love you, Laura. I love
you.
your
Be in touch.
creative play.
Thank you. Great to be with all of you. Mwah. Till next time.
Good.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. I took video, but it was not of anybody teaching. It was of the students doing their own particular things. So no, we don't have anything of Art Waves that shows teaching. Most of that teaching was like one-on-one. We did a real quick, like, here's what you want to, how you want to approach this, and keep in mind that the paint spreads. So, start the paintbrush here just lightly. But then after that, it was everybody just circulating and going around and individually working with each student if they needed it. And that was mainly due to time limitations. We just didn't have the time to go in depth with them.
Well, I'm sure I'll be able to do it, at least before the first of the year. That's my intention, is that I have the,
Mhm.
there's nothing stopping me from doing it, but just time and,
Yeah.
but I have that high on my priority list, because I think Laura needs something. She's never done the process, and she's going to be teaching next spring. So we need to at
Mhm.
least do, once again, hatch a pilot, and then let Carrie look at it and you look at it. And, it's like, how can we make this a little better? It doesn't have to be the masterpiece the first time we do it.
Mhm.
That's a real
Mhm.
stalling point for me. My perfectionism is just lethal. And, I like to say the universe made me a perfectionist, but forgot to make me perfect. And so I'm always trying to make it better. It can be fun, but also means that you maybe don't get as much done. Anyway, so many good ideas from you, Carrie, about, I've got a PowerPoint about Art Waves started. And if you've done a PowerPoint, maybe, maybe next time I'll try to show the PowerPoint. It's short, but then that would, give us a basis and help me maybe finish that up. And then, we can learn a lot. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. So are we the three graces?
Yes.
Are we
And
ready
Carrie,
to
I'm
call it a
planning,
morning?
Carrie,
Tell me,
I'm planning to come next Wednesday evening. I'm gonna see what other,
You are?
yeah, I saw your post on Facebook this morning and I said, oh, that sounds like fun.
the
Do I pay
the
when I
Crayola?
get there? Yeah, do I pay when I get there?
The winery's taking care of that. I think you have to buy a
Okay.
ticket online.
I'll check that
They
out.
haven't gotten it up yet.
Yeah,
All right.
I'll see if I can round up any other partners in crime here to go with me.
Yeah.
So, and then I'll get with you and maybe we can, you can give me some down and dirty schooling on fundraising.
Okay.
And, but
I
you've
have
already
lots of
given me a
experience.
lot here. Yeah, you've given me a lot, but yeah. Okay,
Namaste. We have the
namaste.
Namaste. We have the Almakua, the spirit realm up here. And then we have the third eye, the mental soul, heart realm. And then we have the earth realm. We weave those three together, and that's our creative connection. And now we have it coming heart to heart with you three. I want to reach out my hands here and hold your hands. Thank you so much for being together. I'm so excited. I'm glad we'll get to see each other next time, and have a beautiful Christmas. Enjoy.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.